Hello everybody, welcome to the January Dev Diary from Prehistoric Kingdom. So this actually dropped yesterday. Hopefully this video is coming out the day after, just depends on how I edit it. But I actually missed this when it came out. Normally they come out with these at the end of the month, and I guess you could say that the 20th or 21st is the end of the month. But I was expecting it probably next week or the end of this week. But regardless, we're going to jump into this because this is a absolutely huge dev diary with absolutely incredible, groundbreaking news. So much so that I actually had to make notes. So I'm going to be reading off of that and also sort of highlighting some key things here. So right at the top of this dev diary, they talk about the project itself and a Patreon that they are creating. So if you didn't know, Prehistoric Kingdom is made by a very small dev team, and they say in here, where is it? Right here? No. Where is it? Yes, right here. So they basically talk about here how they not necessarily are running out of money, but it is very, very tight right now. So if you are able to help and subscribe to them on Patreon, definitely do so. It's going to help the development of this game. And I would hate to see this game die or, stop development because of something silly like this that all of us can solve right now. And so we're actually going to jump over and I'm going to show you their Patreon. I watched a couple other people do this dev diary breakdown yesterday, but nobody actually showed their prices on Patreon here. So starting out at $2 a month, that's basically nothing. $5 a month, that's one single coffee basically from Starbucks. $10 a month, $20 a month, and $40 a month. The 10, 20, and 40 is obviously where the meat and potatoes sort of come into play, and you can actually get some really cool stuff from this. So you can access the work in progress content on their Discord for the $10. The $20 gives you everything that the $10 did, obviously, but you can actually speak one-on-one with the devs here. And then $40, I mean, this is just crazy. This is everything that you could possibly want, and you'll be getting everything that this game has to offer when it is full release, plus a little bit more. All right, so we're gonna jump back here now, and I'm gonna mention the Patreon a little bit just as this goes on. Of course, you'll get the art books. You can buy these on Steam as well. But yeah, you can get it as well if you want to support their Patreon too. All right, so let's get into this. So the big thing for this dev diary for the next update is babies. Baby dinosaurs, baby prehistoric animals, and I am so excited. If I had a camera, you all could see the smile that's on my face. I am so unbelievably excited, especially for baby T-Rex here. Look at how fuzzy he is. I don't know if it's going to come through on the YouTube video here, but I mean, there's a little baby tufts, there's fluff on them there, and then they show this, which is absolutely incredible and blows my mind, of a seamless growth system. Guys, this game is gonna blow everything out of the water when it finally comes out in full release. In my personal opinion, it's already blown a lot of things out of the water as it stands right now. Planet Zoo, Planet Coaster, you'll see at the end of the video why I mentioned Planet Coaster, but Planet Zoo especially, and even really Zoo Tycoon back in the day. I mean, Prehistoric Kingdom is just taking all of those ideas, all of the things that it did well, and expanding upon them and making them so much more incredibly better. My words are losing themselves because I am just so excited for all of this. This is incredible. So they talk about here the The growth has no model swaps. So basically, it's going kind of from a small baby animal to the much larger version, and it's using an algorithm, I suppose, inside the program itself that is creating these certain things. And they actually talk about that a little bit further down. I'll hold my horses until we get there. But look at how cute this little baby mammoth is. I'm so excited for these, especially after the last video that we put out, which was mammoths. I would love to see baby mammoths in that park. And you can see the little tuft of hair that he has right on the top of his head. You can kind of see, that tuft of hair stays with them the rest of their lives. But this tuft of hair, I mean, the juvenile model here looks so close to an Indian elephant, which again, these are very, very, very close relatives of the Indian elephant. So it would make sense that the baby looks almost identical to a little baby Indian elephant. This is a really cool one too. So what they're talking about here for this video is the locomotion, the movement of these dinosaurs. And you can kind of pick up here in this video. Again, I hope it comes through over on YouTube. But you can see the different strides, the different walking mechanisms, and you'll see an adult T-Rex a little bit further down in this dev diary. I kind of wish that they had put it in this video too, so you could get like a side-by-side comparison. But basically they're saying here that the baby, we'll actually go back, the baby T-Rex, you can see bounces up and down ever so slightly. It's a little bouncier and kind of is wiggly and wobbly like a baby animal would be. This is sort of a more grown-up juvenile version, still very bouncy, a little less wobbly, and they talk about here how they're making this the case for all of the animals, which I think is super, super exciting, super fascinating. These are just so adorable. The little baby cave lions, the little spots that they have, these look just like modern day lions, the cubs from them, but I mean, my God, they just steal your heart. They're so cute. I can't wait to see these in the game. For those of you that don't know, cave lions are one of my favorite animals in this game, just probably because of how underrated they are. They're, I think, a 1-star animal in the game, and to each their own, I guess. But in my heart, they're a 5-star. I love the cave lions. This is absolutely amazing here. With the babies, intermixed amongst the herd. They actually are going to talk about herding a little bit later in this dev diary here. But what they're sort of mentioning here is sexual dimorphism. So basically, if you don't know what that means, it basically means that the males and females of a given species look different. So you can imagine a perfect example of this is a peacock or a peafowl. The peacock, the male version, has that beautiful, vibrant tail with all of the colors there. The very iconic peacock, but the peafowl, the female version of that, is a brown, drab, much smaller version of that sort of peafowl there. And both of these are the same species, even though they look entirely different. Turkeys do this as well. A lot of animals have this. Lions with their manes, the males have, those big iconic manes like a modern day lion does. Not so much here on the cave lions, at least not in this game. But they talk about here with the mammoth specifically that they're actually able to switch on and off the growth development, so they can stop the growth of a mammoth a little bit early if it's a female, to give them slightly shorter tusks. So I'm really excited to see how this plays into other species in the game and sort of what that is going to look like, because there is some sexual dimorphism in the game already with the adult animals. So I'm really excited for that. This is probably something that I am the most excited about. I'm gonna say that probably continuously throughout this, because I'm the most excited about every single thing in this video, or in this dev diary here. But this is incredible. A first person mode. This is gonna make everything that we do in our parks so much more real, so much more immersive. If you're watching this when this video goes live, the Friday after the end of this week, I'm going to be releasing a tour of Paleo Springs, our park that we're working on. So I wish that we had this in the game right now, but hopefully we will have it by episode 20. Whenever we get to there, that's going to be our 10th episode, the end of this week. So I figured it was best to do a little tour of the park to see everything that we've done. I wish that we had this, but probably one of the coolest things about this is they talk about doing managerial tasks. Now, that might sound so boring to some people, but to other people, specifically you out there who have played Zoo Tycoon back in the day, Zoo Tycoon 2, it might sound a little familiar. And I forget who I was watching. I was watching a YouTube video where they talked about how Planet Zoo, I think it was Rudy, or it might have been Leaf. I think it was Leaf. Leaf was talking about a video, or he was doing a video talking about in there how Planet Zoo feels dead in comparison to Zoo Tycoon, because yes, there is a first person mode they added after the fact. I love Frontier. This is not shade at Frontier. I love Frontier and I love Planet Zoo as well. But the fact that you can walk around the park and you can't drive a car, you can't pick up poop, you can't feed the animals, you can't pet them, you can't do anything in there. You can just walk around and look at them statically. It just feels like it's missing something. So I am so excited for this, the fact that we can walk around our park and actually take part in some of the duties that are being kept there. And I mean, you can just see here as well, I'm also super excited for just seeing the sauropods in all of their glory, seeing how big they are in comparison to your little first person. And so actually this is going to be in the next update, so hopefully that comes out relatively soon. They don't say when it's going to be coming out, but I hope it comes out sooner rather than later, because I am so excited for this specifically. I'm excited for the babies. Yes, that's awesome. That's amazing. I think they mention a little bit later here. We'll just keep going. We'll just keep going. Getting ahead of myself. So they talk about the future here. They talk about herding behaviors and mixed herds. So the animals in the game right now, they don't move as one. They don't move in herds, which is something that is sorely missed as of now. But again, I know they're working on it. They talk about here long term, they want to focus on how the herd structures and how animals move up and down those ranks in a herd. So the example that they give you here is we have this little tiny herd of Dryosaurus here intermixed amongst this larger herd of Brachiosaurs, and I actually see a Carmarosaurus there in the background too. This is what would be known as a mixed herd. But what they are talking about here with the herd structure is sort of sparring behavior, which is the very next thing that we will come to. But the sparring behavior between, two males in a herd. Say you have two male Triceratops and one of them is the alpha and the other is sort of a beta male. He's underneath them. But that beta male finally gets up the courage to try to become the alpha, and so they have a sparring contest. And oftentimes if you go and watch things like Prehistoric Planet or even Planet Earth, I think any of the David Attenborough films, if you go and watch any of those, he talks about it continuously of how more often than not when an animal spars for that top spot. If they lose, then they get ousted from the herd. So these young male Triceratops, as they grow up in this herd, eventually they're gonna want that top spot, and you may have to deal with sort of the fact of how many males you can have in a given herd or in a given enclosure, for that matter. All right, I'm gonna quit harping on. So, yeah, the next thing here is combat and hostility. So they talk about as well social behavior, social animation. Just at a very sort of top level here, social animation is what you would be seeing in Jurassic World Evolution, where they are choreographed fights, and the sort of, I guess, you could compare to the Triceratops, or not the Triceratops, the T-Rex or the Spinosaurus. When they're clashing in a fight together, they're choreographed, and the T-Rex bites the snout of the Spinosaurus, and then the Spinosaurus reaches around and punches the T-Rex in the face, or I don't know, drops kicks him, or I don't know, something like that. They're animated and they go together seamlessly because Frontier and Universal, who make the Jurassic World Evolution games, have basically an infinite budget to play with. They don't in actuality, I know that, but essentially, comparatively, they have an infinite budget. So what they're saying here is that they're actually working on social behavior. So you can kind of get a little feel for that down here, where this T-Rex is obviously fighting this other one, more so scaring it off. I believe there will be sort of animated behaviors in the future. You can kind of see some of those here. This one's nipping at the other one, and they do show it here of some of the behaviors. But I think eventually they're going to get to a point where, if you have a Stegosaurus and an Allosaurus, the Stegosaurus will swing the tail and possibly hit the Allosaurus, leaving gash marks or something in the side of it. I don't know. The point with all of this all looks very, very promising, but they do warn everybody out there to keep in mind that the combat systems are still in an early production phase, and they're trying to work on it, trying to make it better and better, but they're not going to make it overly complex, again, like you would find in some other games. But in the end, I think that this is actually going to work a little bit better than what you would find in, again, something like Jurassic World Evolution or even Planet Zoo, where these animals are very choreographed in their fights, and one animal makes a hit and then another one does another, and then it's almost like watching WWE. I think this is actually going to be a little bit more interesting to see the behaviors interacting almost in real time, where it's a little bit harder to predict for the player, maybe. Yeah, super excited about that. All right, and then we come to possibly one of my most favorite features. Again, I'm saying this for almost everything in this. This is future now. So again, when we started up at herding, yeah, this is the future. So this is not in the next update. This is stuff that's coming, but one of the things I love about the Prehistoric Kingdom team is they continually update you on the progress of the game as it's going for, all the future updates. So we come to Paleobotany. I'm so excited for this. They talk about, this is one of the coolest things that I've ever read in any of their dev diaries, that for a lot of these plants, paleobotany is a very niche field. Obviously, paleontology, the study of prehistoric things, is a huge field, but most of the paleontologists go into the field relating to animals and prehistoric animals. You find ammonites and things like that to an infinite degree. So most people end up going that route, but paleobotany is a very cool and very niche field, and it needs to be studied more, in all honesty, but I won't get off on that sidetrack there. But they have here, what I've highlighted is, for many of these species, Prehistoric Kingdom will be the first time that these plants have been recreated in 3D. Guys, this is incredible. I wish that I could get a hold of these models. I'll talk about it more at the end of the week in the other video that's coming out. But I wish I could get a hold of these models so that I could make something in Unreal or in Blender or something like that. I'm super excited about that. They talk about here a few of the keynote species that they're going to be having. They're having around 30 that they're looking at right now. Some of these are Araucaria, Camaralia, Zimites. I don't know that one, actually, honestly. But ginkgos. Ginkgos are one of my favorite trees. They also, just before I get into about ginkgos here, they mentioned that it's going to be for all 8 biomes, but most of these paleobotany species are going to be towards scrubland, tropical, wetland, and coastal environments. And to me, that makes perfect sense. Most of these plants that you would be seeing in a sort of paleobotany realm would be from these Cretaceous, Jurassic, even further back than that, Carbonivorous period, where these plants don't exist anymore, and they kind of don't have any modern relatives. Some of them do, of course, but yeah, and a lot of the plants that woolly mammoths and woolly rhinoceros and other species like that, they would be interacting pretty much with the plants that we have alive today, because we are still in the Cenozoic period here of our Earth. But we're going to talk about ginkgos just really quickly. If you've never seen a ginkgo leaf, I'm going to throw one on screen now, and you can see that they have a very distinct shape. Ginkgos are some of my favorite trees of all time. They actually talk about them a little bit further down, so I'm going to pin it for just 1 second. You got a fern, you got another plant. This looks very dinosaur-esque to me, and so does this. This actually, the toadites. I'm so sorry. I don't know how to pronounce any of these, but these ones actually look pretty similar to some of the plants that we have here in Florida. This looks like a cyad. Maybe it is. Maybe it's not. I don't know, man. But I'm so excited for all of these plants. Honestly, this is incredible. Okay, ginkgos. We're back to ginkgos. Ginkgos are incredible. The ginkgo species that is alive today is, or the species that is most common, I guess, around the world, or not around the world. They're only native to East Asia, duh. But the ginkgos that are alive today are called Ginkgo biloba, and if that sounds familiar, that's because if you didn't know, I actually just learned this when I was looking up information about ginkgos before recording this. Ginkgo biloba is where J.R.R. Tolkien got the name for Bilbo Baggins, one of the main characters in Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. Bilbo is named from the ginkgo tree. So for all of you Lord of the Rings fans out there, here you go. This is incredible. And it makes sense. Again, I'll put the leaf back on screen now, and you can kind of see where he might get that inspiration from. This leaf is just so distinctive and otherworldly. It looks like it would be something, that belongs in the Lord of the Rings, I guess. Yeah. But the 2 ginkgo species for now that we're seeing in this dev diary are 2 that I do not know how to pronounce. You have Ginkgo yemenensis and Ginkgo adenotoides. Yep. The first one, Ginkgo Y, is from the Jurassic, and Ginkgo A is from the Cretaceous. And so one of the things that they've done here is made this so that the ginkgo Y is the coastal Jurassic species, and then the ginkgo A is the temperate Cretaceous. So you kind of get a little bit of a variation there, and you still get a ginkgo tree at the end of the day in those two biomes there. Yeah, so this is a mixed example of what that mixed foliage is going to look like for the paleobotany. They also talk about how they're going to be having specific dig sites, which I am just so excited about. They're going to be having mixed or different dig sites for the plants than they are the animals, and some of them are going to be shared with the animals. And just like the animals in the game, if you put them in the same habitat, in the same environment, they get a bonus from that. So right now, if you didn't know, a lot of these animals in game, the classic example is the Triceratops, the Edmontosaurus, and the Ankylosaurus, as well as the T-Rex, but I wouldn't put them in there, at least not after the combat update. But Triceratops, Edmontosaurus, and Ankylosaurus, these three species are all from the Hell Creek Formation. And so that's a very classic, probably the most famous example. And if you put them all in the same enclosure in this game, it gives them a boost to their reputation of the guests seeing it. They're like, oh, wow, it's like more natural or whatever. With the paleoflora, the paleobotany, once this comes in game, it's going to double that. So you can then put all of the Hell Creek dinosaurs together, plus their plants that were around at that time together in the same habitat, and the guests are just gonna go crazy. This is gonna be amazing. Yeah, I'm so excited for this. They talk about as the year progresses. I'm not looking at their Trello right now, which is their sort of roadmap, but it's coming this year. I'm excited. I'm really excited. All right, the next thing, terrariums. So again, for those of you that have been keeping up with Paleo Springs that we have here on our channel, we put in a Microraptor enclosure, the micro mini exhibits, inside of our education center. I'm going to be going through and taking that out, and we're going to change that to something. I know I posed a question at the end of that video. Nobody answered, so that's okay. But Prehistoric Kingdom answered for us here, and these terrariums are going to be game changing, honestly. So they have 3 different configurations that are coming, and they're going to be 2 different sizes. So a small version and a large version, a 4x8 or a 8x12. So the 4x8 would be 1 4-meter panel. You can actually see the divide right here. So this is a 4x8. Where you have the 4 right here on the side, and then you have 2 4s next to each other, an 8. They haven't shown the larger version yet. I'm really curious to see what that looks like and what dinosaurs can go in there eventually. But yeah, so they're changing it up. Previously, we've only had Archaeopteryx and Microraptor, so that's been the equivalent, I guess, of the arboreal environment. Super nice, super great, that's cool. But they're adding terrestrial and amphibious. Now, this is where I'm going to pause, and Prehistoric Kingdom Critivo team, if you guys are listening to this, I have a suggestion. Or not really a suggestion, I need this, rather, of fully aquatic. We need to add a 4th one of fully aquatic configurations in here, because I mentioned earlier in the video, I briefly just said the word of ammonite. Ammonites and nautiloids are some of the most successful species on planet Earth. They've been around since the beginning, basically, and they have survived almost every single mass extinction event on our Earth. Even to this day, we still have Nautilus in our oceans. Those are relatives of ancient ammonoids or ammonites. we need a fully aquatic configuration. I know that's probably going to be down the road as a DLC, but guys, I love aquariums. Again, the name of the channel is Rogue Reefing. I need it. I need it. I need it. I need it. Yeah, we won't talk about it. I need it. So, they give you 3 animals that are coming. So we have a terrestrial one here of Compsognathus. For any of you Jurassic Park fans, Jurassic World Evolution fans, this is very familiar to you. The compies, as they're known in there. But this is a very different look to what you may have seen, again, in Jurassic Park or anything like that, of the Compsognathus is fuzzy because, you know, it's a little tiny theropod dinosaur, which makes sense. This is amazing. I think they're actually showing them in here right now. They're so cute. They're so adorable. And they even have a little burrow. I didn't know they were burrowing dinosaurs or burrowing animals. Maybe it's kind of like how here in Florida we have gopher tortoise holes of the gopher tortoise digs the holes and then other animals live in there with them. Maybe it's a situation like that. I don't know. Really interested to see what they come up with that. Then super amazing, unexpected animal of Tiktaalik. Tiktaalik is the ancestor of all terrestrial animals. If you are a terrestrial animal out there right now listening to this video, I know at least half of you are, then you have to thank Tiktaalik. I've already seen people on Reddit calling this grandpa. Very, very funny. It would be great grandpa, or, you know, even further back than that, but super excited for that. And this is a semi-aquatic. So again, Tiktaalik, an animal that is, I guess, comparable today to mud skippers, if you're familiar with those, where they come out of water and they actually need to come out of water to breathe. Tiktaalik is one of those where it needs to come out of the water at least part of the time, but I'm really curious to see how they do the animations for this. And then we have Yichi. Yichi, if you did not know, is the shortest dinosaur name of any dinosaur in existence as of now, because it has 4 characters. It is 4 characters long, making it the shortest name that exists today. And you can see how small Yichi is next to it. This is another arboreal, so we'll be having the Microraptor, the Archaeopteryx, and now Yichi. And I think they mentioned in here, they do not mention how many of these are coming, but I think I've seen a couple people saying that they updated it on their Trello page. If you all are familiar to that, I'll link down to it below. And then finally, we have the end of this very, very long dev diary and this very, very long video, which is flat rides. I'm not going to clap in the microphone, but I am so excited for this. This is something that I have been saying should come to this game since I started playing it, mostly because Planet Zoo did such a good job of having rides, I guess, that people can interact with. Now, yeah, I mean, in Jurassic World Evolution did a good job of it too, with the safari ride and things like that. For anybody out there who ever played Jurassic Park Operation Genesis way back in the day, I was a little kid when I got it, but that was like one of the best Christmas presents that I ever got, was that game. Maybe we'll play it on the channel at some point, but that was the sort of pinnacle of these rides in a park, animal park builder type game. And one of the things that they had was the balloon, and the balloon would actually go around the park. So what they're talking about here is flat rides. So for anybody who has played Planet Coaster 2 that came out recently, you will know that flat rides are the things that don't move. Now, they talk about here at the end, The three things that they're looking at right now, before I get ahead of myself, the Ferris wheel, a theater, and the air balloon. The theater is unexpected, and I am so excited for that, because that's just a absolutely classic experience, I guess, the you would expect from a zoo. If not a theater, then at least a educational stage show area. As someone who, again, used to work in a museum, stage shows I used to do every single day, where we would talk about, I would bring fossils out, I'd wheel them from the back of collections out onto the stage and talk to kids, let them touch the fossils, things like that. The theater, I think, should double as that, so you could have, I hope that you can have a mode that you toggle, where sometimes it's a 2D film that's being projected on there, and then other times it's a educator that comes out. Now, obviously, we don't have educator staff. I really hope that they add that at some point. We don't even have vets in the game yet, but hopefully, again, I'm getting ahead of myself here. Yeah, hot air balloon is great. Ferris wheel, personally, I could take it or leave it. It feels very carnival-esque. It's cool, but for me personally, for the parks that I build, I could take it or leave it. However, they talk about here at the very end, if you have any suggestions that would fit the tone of the game, they would love to hear them. So I have listed a couple suggestions of things that I think they absolutely need. I don't know if they would consider these as flat rides per se, because they would move around, but I think they're things that do fit the tone of the game and they would be super beneficial. So the first on the list is safari ride. This is the sort of classic Jurassic World. You have the Jeeps, or Jurassic Park rather, of even in the first movie, they had the Jeeps, or the cars that went around and saw the exhibits from that way. That, I think, is sorely missing in this game. Sorely missing in this game. Another thing is boat tour. They have this in Planet Zoo, a little boat tour that you can take around there. But this is an idea that actually dates back to the original idea, the book of Jurassic Park, again, written by Michael Crichton, if you did not know. And in that book, he talks about a boat tour that goes around, and there's really cool concept art of that boat tour going through, sort of a Brachiosaurus exhibit or something like that. And the last thing that I'm going to mention here is zip lines. We have them in Jurassic World Evolution. I think they fit the game, this game, especially well. And I would love to see them. If they added them tomorrow, I would put it in and make an episode in Paleo Springs right then, right away. So again, this is a very long video, so I'm going to end it here. We're going to wrap up with, just some of these little images here. Go support the Patreon if you are able to. I would love to see this game continue on in the future. They need help from everybody here. And so this is where I'm going to leave it off. Again, it's a very long video. I want to thank you for watching and for taking the time out of your day. There's a million things you could have been doing, and you chose to spend a little bit of that time here with me and go over this wonderful January Dev Diary. So thank you so much for watching. I will see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.